Look, it's Guess the Conspiracy time. And these two have got form, Cats. They've won it once already. So let's play. So, guys, since you were last on, the score has changed. It is now 10-9 to myself and Cats. So, if you get this one, you're pulling it level.
Wait a minute. Who's been letting the side down for the guests?
What do you mean? The guests were miles behind. By the time when you did it,
oh right,
the guests have been pulling it back.
Comeback story.
Yeah, you're the comeback story. So, I think you might have even kicked the comeback off. So, this would be brilliant if you could get it to 10-all, because we're ending the game soon, and it's first to 11. I'm not just saying that because if we win tonight, we win. We have discussed this over 2 episodes. Go on.
Once again, it is abhorrent to me that me and Matt are on the same team, and I would like some kind of judgment as to which of us did better, even within the team.
Fine, that's fine. But last time, it was we did the one on the. Do you remember the guy who thought the pizza box was Masonic, and there was loads of images all over it?
Oh,
and, yeah. Spanners had a blooming relative who was a Mason, so he knew all that stuff. And that
Master Mason.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh God, the flat earthers are going to listen to this, and I'm associated with a Mason. It's all over for me. Right, so here we go. 3 conspiracy theories. 1 is real in that people believe it, and 2 are fabricated by Cats and myself. Here we go. Number 1, Coke and Pepsi are actually the same drink. It's a test in subliminal advertising to see if the colour of the can affects the taste. That's the first conspiracy theory. Number 2, the Earth exists inside a giant crater. That's the second one. And number 3, bacteria are not a thing, and they exist only to control the population. The idea of them exists to control the population. There you go. That's your 3.
Okay, so we've got 3 to pick from. Matt, do you want me to go first? I've got a hot take on all 3.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so my early thinking is, and what we're doing here is establishing which one is a real conspiracy theory that is out there. So the most believable one for me straight away is the bacteria one.
Okay.
Because bacteria doesn't exist. Now, my mind is now turned to straight chiropractic and acupuncture and what's orthopedic? No, osteopathy. And a lot of the backbone of that is actually there are no germs. So they deny germ theory, and they say that all the ailments of the body are from misalignments in your muscular skeletal system.
Right. Okay.
I have a hilarious anecdote.
Shoot.
Regarding that, my daughter had to write a final paper or do a final presentation in her yoga class. And some of the topics that came up were very woo topics.
Woo.
And my daughter was apparently grumbling infinitely about the concept of foot reflexology.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
She picked herbalism. She says, at least there's some vague science there somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it was a proud moment for me as a dad. Because I wasn't there when she was complaining about the lack of science in all of this.
Brilliant.
So when it comes to alt med, like all bets are off. Like I can definitely believe that someone thinks bacteria doesn't exist, Matt.
Yeah, no. Now, also interesting to me is the Coke Pepsi thing, because you may not know this, but in a previous life, I was a bartender. And one thing we absolutely did at our bar was we bought a beer that was not Budweiser, but cheaper. I think it was Schaefer, and ran it through the Budweiser tap.
Oh.
And I attended bar for the better part of a year. And in that entire year, exactly one person bought a pint of that and then said to me, "Are you sure this is Budweiser?"
Mate, 100% can agree with that because, okay, so to start with, I swear that I drink a lot of the sugar-free Cokes and Pepsis, and I think I could tell the difference between Coke Zero and Pepsi Max. I think I could. But the one thing I do know is that out of a cold tin, it definitely tastes a lot different than out of a bottle. And I'm absolutely sure of that and happy to be proved wrong. I had a boss that was absolutely adamant that he was a sommelier and that he could tell all the different whiskies apart. And he was really getting a lot of mileage at the bar, going on. This one's got the aroma of this and whatever. And I just full on called him, and I just went, I think that's balls, mate. I think that. And let's test it. And we tested it, and he didn't get a single one right. He was horribly embarrassed. I never got promoted.
Oh.
So it's an interesting thing, perception. I remember being in the 5th grade, 6th grade, 4th grade, something like that. And they came up and they said, here, put on this blindfold, take a bite of this apple. And I took a bite of it, and I was like, spit it out. I'm like, that's not an apple. It was a potato. It's an experiment they did on kids because the textures and things are similar. Some people are really sensitive to that. I had a friend who worked in a wine store, and they were talking about vodkas, and they were like, yeah, mostly, but he said there was one rep. He said, we did a blind pour of 12 different vodkas, and he told us each one. Like, he was dead on with each of them. So there are people who do have those senses, but I think it's much rarer than a lot of people would have you believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And okay, so the Earth and the crater one. Now, Dan, what's your criteria here? Does it have to be an established conspiracy theorist, or is it that one guy called Derek in Slough who thinks the Earth is in a crater?
My criteria is that for any of these conspiracy theories, that there is at least a small group of people that believe it.
Okay. So this one's too ridiculous for me. So is it resting in a crater? Is the Antarctic, is that the bottom? And that's the thing on the top, and it's really finely balanced? If this one's true, I lose all faith in humanity unless it's such a big crater that it's somehow floating in it, unless is that connected with flat Earth? Matt, I'm going with my bacteria still. The Earth in a crater is not moving me.
Yeah, there's so many weird Earth conspiracies. It's flat, it's diagonal, it's this, it's that, it's the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's just like, so Earth in a crater is a good one to draw you in, but really, if you were going to be real about it, it would be the inside of the Earth is hollow. I would bet that is I bet there are people who absolutely believe that is true.
There's loads of hollow
being
earthers.
lied to about it.
Loads of hollow earthers.
So I would agree with you. I think that's a distraction. Coke and Pepsi being the same, I don't know. I feel like I can taste the difference. I think that'd be a hard sell. But that said, my experience bartending is like, well, yeah, you could probably also get away with it with a lot of people too. But the bacteria thing also struck me as being the most believable of the three.
The most believable that someone would think it's a conspiracy. Whatever happens here, I'm going to do my Pepsi Max Coke Zero taste test to see if I can actually tell the difference, because I thought I could. Happy to be corrected. Matt, my vote is the bacteria one. But
bacteria, you going for that?
It's a team game, Matt. So
are you happy with that? Happy with bacteria? Okay.
You're much older, so you should decide.
Oh, no. I'm going to agree with you. So therefore, if we're wrong, it's going to be entirely your fault.
Okay.
Bacteria, Bob.
Here we go.
Final answer.
Here we go. Final answer.
Oh, yeah.
We've done it, Catz. We have done it. Quite possibly, that is one of the best ones in that it's got the people talking and not sure about all three.
Yes.
Normally they discard one straight away and say it's out of these two. You went through all of those really well. It's the crater, guys. It's the crater.
I've lost faith in
It is the crater. So there are people out there that genuinely believe. And you're right, mate. It's a massive crater. It's a massive crater that they believe.
It's so big that we're floating in the crater. So it's also a zero gravity crater.
Exactly. So we don't know what the crater's in. We don't know where that crater is, but they believe that the Earth exists inside a crater. Catz came up with
wait. What's the crater a part of? A giant planet?
I don't know. We don't know. But it does. There is an offshoot to flat Earth because some flat earthers think that there's a giant. What is it, Catz? Like a giant ice ball or something, and then the Earth is just a tiny little bit in the top of the ice ball or something like that. So it's a bit of an offshoot to that. Catz came up with the Coke and Pepsi one, and I came up with the bacteria one.
Really good. Both of them really good.
And we've done it, mate. We've done it. 11-9. We are victorious. I was worried that you two were going to get it.
Slightly in that you have found the most ridiculous conspiracy theory I've ever heard and combined it with two perfectly plausible conspiracy theories.
That's the game, mate. That's the game. Come on. Right.
Frio, la la di do di